We live, pal.
Hey, we're live, pal.
Woo.
Is this the same music we've always had?
No, it changed.
Why? I like it.
Yeah,
It changed.
I wanted to pick it up a bit, you know?
Is this the one that you were looping continuously the other day while we were figuring out the A-side that got stuck into my head?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're live, pal. This is, of course, Jose Young's at MMAfighting.com here for another episode of the A-side. We're back to just Wednesdays now that we have fight weeks, and of course we had the debut show of Between the Links MMA Fighting, which I must remind you, undefeated and undisputed champion of Between the Links, Jose Youngs, is your host of the A-side live chat. Joining me this week is, as we like to call her on site, I don't know where she is on my camera, but cool Alex, not Alex Kaylee, Alex Savas, other way. Alex Savas is joining us. So Alex, I think the last time we talked to you were still in Chicago?
No, I was here. I've been
Were
here
you?
since first week of April. Haven't
Right.
gotten out much, but loving it so far.
Well, for everyone listening, Alex will probably be on a lot more because, of course, she will most likely be one of the mainstays of the Wednesday episodes of the A-side. Alex Kaylee will pop in now and then with his bad music taste. And, of course, the man that will be on almost every episode, Casey Leiden.
Yeah. Hey.
Allegedly. Casey Leiden, the producer, mixer, soundboard guy, human air horn, as he likes to do with our preview shows, post-fight shows, and all that kind of stuff. But, of course, this is not our show. This is your all show. You can leave a question on Twitter. You can go on the site. You can go on the YouTube comments. You can do whatever you want, and we can ask your questions. So, without further ado, Casey, do we have any questions on YouTube?
No,
we see a few on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm going to go straight to YouTube. Hold on. Oh, so many we miss PT questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like the evil stepmother right now, and I was like, I'm not trying to be your new mom. I'm not trying to be the new Pizzi. Nobody can replace Pizzi in our hearts.
Nobody can replace Pizza in our hearts, but Alex is here, and she is phenomenal, and she does great work. All the video clips and all the video stuff you see is Alex's work. So it's like when people were complaining that Casey all of a sudden appeared on the show, and they're like, when did this guy start covering MMA? And Casey's like, I don't know, 15 years ago,
yeah.
more than you guys have been watching. So first question from Marco Savas. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Can we please get a moment of silence for Pizzi? Everyone right now, try to put your foot behind your head. Ready, set, go. Alex, you can't put your foot behind your head, right?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Casey, are you now the most flexible person on the show?
No, man, I had my first old man injury the other day too, and I started going back to Muay Thai, and then my back just went all stupid, and I was like, the first time ever, I had like 30 minutes in the class, I was like, nah, I'm done, I can't do anything.
Oh.
I know, it was bad. I think.
Wait, you're flexible? You can put your leg behind your head?
I can look at my leg from where I'm standing. That's about it. But yeah.
That's pretty good.
I can't even I can barely get my leg above my waist. I'm probably the most inflexible person in all of MMA media. So yes, moment of silence for Pizzi, but Alex is here, and we are happy to have her.
Thank you.
Wait, hold on. I'm getting some graphics from Esther now.
Oh, sheesh, y'all. 'Twas a dream. If somebody tells me what that reference is from,
Hey.
bet.
Now we have names.
Me.
Hit me.
Where do we get some questions from? Where did Esther put some questions in? Okay, here they are. Let me shit. Ooh, hold on. It's gonna be all kind of messy, but we're doing it. We're doing it live.
The wonders of live television. From Jed Michu. Hey, Jose. Second time, long time. In the heated battle of Dana White versus John Oliver, who is winning? Hashtag Dumps McFightman. I will be transparent. I have never once watched any sort of John Oliver content in my entire life.
What?
Not that I dislike the man, or I don't know anything about him. I also don't really watch television in general. I don't think I've watched the talk show in its entirety. Or not a talk show, but what do you call I don't even remember. What's the old Stephen Colbert show or Jon Stewart show? I've never watched those in my life either, so I don't know I know he came up with UFC, and now the UFC is trademarking that. So Alex, you seemed aghast that I've never watched John Oliver in my life.
He's everywhere. I don't know. People are always referencing his videos. I think he's hysterical. In a battle of wit, John Oliver every day. Dana White would probably smash him in a physical battle, but
I don't think John Oliver is trying to actually fight Dana White. I think it was funny. Man, like if, come on, they came up with UFC Brawlhamas instead of Fight Island. That's such a better name, the Brawlhamas.
They're so clever. You know what? I think it's funny that Dana was like, I don't know where people got this idea of like tiki huts and me sitting on a chair watching fights. I'm like, you guys are the ones that put out those Fight Island shirts, right? Wasn't it all like you did that? Wasn't us?
Yeah, like a lot of the fighters were like tweeting pictures of them wearing it. That's so. You're not wrong, but I will take your word for it. I don't dislike John Oliver for anyone asking. I just have I don't watch TV anyway. Like if something happens in the world, I usually find out on, like, I don't know, an app or something. My TV is rarely ever on. I'm watching Mr. Robot right now finally, so that's like the first new television show I watched in like 3 or 4 years. So, cut me some slack, guys.
So that was that was one of the gags on the show.
What is the gag? Is that Dana White?
No, that's not Dana White. But
you will submit.
Well, because they were making fun. Basically, the whole premise was they were John Oliver came up with the idea of UFC, and then Dana White went on, I think, TMZ to say, "Oh, I like that name," and we trademarked it. So John Oliver went back through all the trademark filings, and they found UFC trademarks that had expired. So they realized "You Will Submit" had expired, so they bought that trademark, and now they're selling "You Will Submit" onesies and stuff for I think for COVID-19 charities. So,
good.
Yeah.
So John Oliver's winning.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think.
Is this a show where there's guests? Like, I'm genuinely asking.
No, usually no guest, especially in the.
So it's like the Jon Stewart one where he's just talking into a camera with clips.
Yeah, and they have like packages.
Is it HBO or
HBO?
What?
HBO.
Okay.
I think they've won 3 years in a row best variety show. So,
I don't doubt it. I mean, when I lived in LA, I saw his face everywhere. I just never watched it.
It's funny.
Yeah. Oh man, I gotta find it later. But me and Esther, we actually went to the studios and we got to sit at the desk and we took little photos of us sitting at his desk.
Is it like a really, like, I can't tell desks apart. I can tell the Stephen Colbert one from his show because it seems kind of unique, but I can't tell any of them apart. Is it like hyper unique or is it just a desk?
Well, I mean, it's in a cool little set and everything.
All right.
Wait, hold on. We got. Talk amongst yourselves. This picture will be worth it when I pull it up.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Guess who we figured out lives like right down the street from us?
Who's that?
Brendan Schaub.
So Brendan, yeah. Where in LA? Actually, you don't have to say where in LA. Like, do you see him out and about in one of his 1,000 cars?
Yeah, so he's been posting his thick boy bike club, and he's been posting his routes, and we're like, that's like right around here, like the trails. And then the other day, we were just taking a walk around the neighborhood, and we saw a silver Aston Martin, which is one of his cars that he talks about. And PJ was like, 100% that was Brendan Schaub. And then if you Google him, actually, it's not that hard to find celebrity addresses usually, especially like B-list, C-list celebrities. So, yeah, he's right about a mile away here.
For a long time, when I first dyed my hair silver and blonde, I would get called Brendan Schaub's gay cousin on social media and YouTube every single show.
That's awful.
To the point where Brendan Schaub had to be like, I don't know who this person is.
All right. Oh, well, find it later. Next question. So, what's the final verdict?
You guys say John Oliver, so I believe you. If John Oliver got Dana White to buy a trademark that he said as a joke, then I would imagine John Oliver is winning. 10-9 John Oliver.
Well,
yeah.
So 2018, because then now he's selling You Will Submit onesies.
For charity.
Is Dumps McFight Man part of the gag?
Yeah. Well, they came up with better names for Dana White because they thought that Dana White's name was boring. So that was one of them, and then just Doug was one.
Dumps McFight Man.
Doug is a great name for Dana White.
Yeah, we like that. We like that. He goes, yeah, we like that name better.
Imagine if it was Doug White. 10 out of 10.
This is funny. I'm wearing the same shirt. Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
When I picture Casey, like, you know how when you imagine someone, you usually have them in like some sort of article of clothing that they wear all the time. When I picture Casey, that is the shirt he's always wearing.
Look at those cheesins smiling.
You're so happy.
I know.
That's the most happy I've ever seen. That's the most happy I've seen Casey.
We had to be real quick. They were like, okay, get it, because it was before the show was starting, so we weren't allowed to touch the desk or anything because they didn't want to leave fingerprints. So like, okay, get in real quick, take a quick photo, and then you leave. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wait, I think we got, but here is this. This one looks a little better. Look at that.
Look at that. Unnatural.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next question. Where are the questions, Esther? Where'd you put the questions? Oh, they're in the A-side folder. Hold on. Oh, that's a silly question. Hold on. Oh, okay, here's a good one. Gotta download them all.
We need music for question finding.
Yeah, I know.
This is where Pizzi shine. Do you think Felicia has a chance? Hashtag the A-side. So I would imagine this is about Felicia Spencer, of course, challenges UFC two-weight champion Amanda Nunes and the main event of UFC 250 this weekend. Specifically, she is challenging for her featherweight championship. This will be the first time Amanda Nunes defends her 145-pound title as she looks to become the first fighter, and I'll clarify this, the first fighter in UFC history to defend both titles while holding both titles. A lot of people got confused when I was on Between the Links when I said this because people were like, oh, Henry Cejudo, Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier never defended his light heavyweight title after he won the heavyweight championship. And Henry Cejudo relinquished the flyweight title before he defended his bantamweight title. So he never defended both while holding both at the same time. So Amanda Nunes will look to make history, not just male and female, but just in the annals of UFC. No one has done that before. So, Alex, I will start with you because Casey and I have talked about this a lot on various A-sides, preview shows, post-fight shows, whatever. Does Felicia Spencer have a shot against the woman many consider to be the greatest female fighter of all time?
Of course she has a shot. You know, nobody would want to watch if she didn't. You know, she's a professional fighter. Amanda's only human. I'm not saying that the only chance Felicia has is if Amanda makes a mistake, but that can happen. That's one way that goes. And I just I'm not rooting for Amanda to lose, but I think if Felicia wins, that's going to be a huge moment, you know, for everybody who was bitching about this pay-per-view main event. If you don't like it, don't buy it. It's that simple. But anyway, so if this fight ends up being a banger,
that was very Dana White right there. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Wow.
I mean, in all reality, like people bitching about it probably aren't even the ones paying for it anyway. So.
Ooh.
Well, how would you watch it otherwise? What are you talking about?
You go to a bar, and you pay a $5 cover.
There you go. I think she definitely has a chance. I don't think I'm picking Amanda Nunes to win, but Felicia Spencer's, and we've talked about this a lot, her strengths are on the ground, grappling and wrestling. Amanda Nunes in the past has been susceptible to that, specifically against her Kat Zingano, Alexis Davis fight. Casey, what were you going to say?
I think coming into this fight, I thought it was a pick'em fight. I think very highly of Spencer, especially her strengths versus Amanda's weaknesses. But I think this fight is even more in Spencer's advantage now because of the small cage. This is less room.
Oh, interesting. Never thought about that.
Because for Amanda to win, she has to win this at distance and use her probably equal reach and just basically pop Spencer from the outside a lot. But I think Spencer's really good at getting inside because he's gonna press Amanda against that cage, eventually get her down. And when Spencer's on top of Amanda Nunes, I think she's just gonna wear her out. And then I think it's gonna be an ugly fight. Which all Spencer fight, when Spencer kind of goes the distance, they are kind of ugly fights, but grueling. Not ugly in a bad way, but ugly in the sense that it's not this, technical stand-up war. It's just gonna be like a lot of the ground getting up, just a lot of ground and pound and just holding Amanda against the cage and on the ground. So
she hasn't had a decision win in the UFC, correct?
Yeah,
she's 2-1 with 2 submission wins or 2 stoppage wins, and then she went 3 rounds against Chris Cyborg.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it's to go 3 rounds with Chris Cyborg in the UFC is no easy task.
And Felicia got beat up, but she never stopped moving forward. She was like, it was one of those fights where the person that got their ass kicked, somehow you were actually more impressed of that kind of fight, and that's why I felt Spencer's. That's why I took away from Spencer's beating that she took from Cyborg.
Well, we talked about this with like Jon Jones and Dominic Reyes. It's like when the person who you're not expecting to dominate starts to make moves, it's perceived as like higher damage and doing better than the other person, even though you might not see that in the scorecard. So,
Alex, do you think, could you touch upon it briefly, that it doesn't, to me, I'm not rooting for either one because journalistic ethics and all that stuff, but is it better for the featherweight division if they have a legitimate featherweight champion that will just stay in their weight class defending all the time rather than someone has to go back and forth between two divisions?
Yeah, of course. And then I think, if Felicia does win this title, I think that's going to show too that okay, Amanda's still obviously amazing, but now when you look at the women's divisions, there's such dominant champions in all of them that people tend to see it as less competitive. And I really want to see that perception change, that, okay, these are really good matchups. And when the women headline a pay-per-view main event, people aren't, turning the other way. So
what else? Who else is out there after Megan Anderson that the UFC has? It seems like the Bellator featherweight division is has a little more competition, at least on paper, than the UFC. So Felicia Spencer is rightfully the number one contender. We talked about this on Between the Links. I think people were arguing between Megan Anderson and Felicia Spencer. We were all in agreement Felicia Spencer was the one to get this, right?
Yeah.
And then if Megan Anderson wins her next one, even if she doesn't, she is next in line. After that, who is there? Unless they want to run rematches back and so on and so forth, but who knows?
Right. If this division starts to pick up, let's get more. Let's go. I don't understand why everyone's like, oh, it's really hard to build this division. I'm like, okay, but let's just try. I don't know.
It would be
frustrating to me.
Felicia Spencer is also, according to A.K. Lee, the first Canadian to challenge for a title since George St. Pierre fought Michael Bisping. And, they've been clamoring for a champion for a while. So imagine if Felicia Spencer becomes the next Canadian champion. I know Max Holloway likes to claim Canada, but he's not actually Canadian, guys. So for another question from Marcos Savas on the YouTube comments, could Amanda be the GOAT of male and female if she keeps defending both? Interesting question. Alex, what say you?
I don't like the GOAT talk because I don't think that professional MMA has been around long enough to have a GOAT. I don't think that the GOAT exists yet. I don't think we've met him or her, so.
It's fair.
I think, to me, there's no real GOAT talk, especially in ladies MMA, because I don't know. I think everyone they've all had kind of bad parts of their career. Amanda Nunes has been she's been finished twice. She has 3 losses. I think the run she's on right now may be the most dominant. Is up there with the most dominant runs. It's up there with the Rousey run right now that Rousey had, but as far as just dominance in her streak, but as far as her whole career, Amanda has had ups and downs. So it's hard to tell.
And I know she wants to either take time off or hang them up soon because she wants to start a family. So if she retires in the prime of her career, a la Henry Cejudo or George St. Pierre, we might have another conversation. Because who knows? Maybe she might want to retire after this fight. I'm not saying that I've even heard anything, but like I said, who else is out there at featherweight or bantamweight right now? So thank you for the question, Seaside, on Twitter. From Ollie in the YouTube question. Few questions on Jan versus Aldo. First, who do you think wins? Second, do you think if Aldo versus Sandhagen winner could overtake Aldo with a big win and finally do you want José to win a belt again? I don't. Well, to answer the third one.
I don't. Tell us how you really feel, Ollie.
To answer the third one, I don't really have a feeling one way or another on wanting José Aldo to win a title. If he wins the title, he wins the title. If he doesn't, he doesn't. In terms of Jan versus Aldo, I think Aljamain deserves it over Aldo. I've been on record a few times saying this. I don't think the winner of Aldo Sandhagen leapfrogs Aljamain and Cory Sandhagen leapfrogs José Aldo anytime soon. I think they're going to do Jan versus Aldo on Fight Island as a big title fight to launch Fight Island. So I get it. He's 0-1 in the division. He's not the most deserving, but in terms of bringing eyeballs to a product, of all 4 of those fighters, José Aldo is clearly the most famous. He has the biggest legacy in the sport. I talked about this on, I can't remember, one of the previous shows we did. Russia can't be in the Olympics or the World Cup or anything right now for a while because of the anti-doping sanctions. Any type of sporting event they can have an athlete represent their country in is going to be massive. Like, the Olympics in Russia is is the world stops. It is the biggest deal in the world when that happens because nothing is more important than representing their country. So Khabib, rightfully so, I think is one of, if not the most followed individuals in the entire country. If Jan becomes the next Russian champion, he's going to be a megastar. If Jose Aldo wins the title, he's already a megastar. So this fight makes sense in terms of getting eyes on the Fight Island product. Alex, your thoughts on all three questions this will ask.
Besides the bantamweights that have been like really affected by Aldo, coming into the division, like Aldo and Sandhagen, a lot of the other ones are actually kind of excited to have him in the division and wouldn't mind seeing him as the champion because it does bring a lot of eyes. So I'm not really against it because I'm all for whatever look. I'm not in the bantamweight division, so I have to look at the bantamweight fighters and see what they think. If they're fine with it, then I'm fine with it. That's fine, go for it. But obviously, if I'm Aldo, I'm pissed. If I'm Sandhagen, I'm pissed. But if they get their chance fairly, then all is right with the world again. But if they end up getting screwed out of this somehow, then obviously no bueno. But
well, I would imagine a scenario for Aljamain and Sandhagen, who are fighting Saturday, is the winner of that fight will probably get the winner of Jan Aldo. If Peter Yan beats Jose Aldo and he becomes a superstar in the world of MMA and Russia, all over the world, that fight is going to be bigger. And then Jose Aldo winning the title, and then them fighting Jose Aldo for the title is going to be bigger. So, silver lining for Aljamain and Cory Sandhagen, they get to fight, they get a paycheck, they get on a pay-per-view card in the Apex, they don't have to travel far, and then they get the bigger fight after against the actual champion. So, silver lining for the bantamweight division. Plus, there's a lot of bantamweight fights on Saturday night.
Why do you think them winning has anything to do with them getting a title shot? You're ridiculous. Are you not paying attention? Are you not paying attention? You keep saying this is bigger, but then you say, oh, but this guy needs to win. It doesn't matter who wins.
Such an idealist.
Right. It could be a draw. Good point, Casey.
Dude, no, Jan's not even get the title shot. It's gonna be Otto versus Cruz.
Wow, man.
Because those are the biggest fights, man. It's the big fight, man. You gotta make the biggest fight possible, bro. Doesn't matter who wins.
I think a fight between Jan and Aldo is bigger internationally than Cruz Aldo for sure. I think Cruz is more famous in America. I don't think he's more famous around the world.
You think?
In terms of fighting, I think they know Cruz as a commentator. He's fought twice in what 3 years?
But what I'm saying is, like, why wouldn't they give it to Cruz? Because it doesn't matter. Winning or losing has no relevance if you get a title shot.
True.
It's just like, true. Former champion versus former champion. That sells better. And like,
then in that logic, why not give it to Frankie Edgar?
Boom. There you go. 3-way.
He's coming off 2 losses too.
Yeah. Who's coming off 3 losses? Let's put him. Anyone coming off 3 losses?
Cody Garbrandt, just pull him from the co-main event, give him a title shot.
Cody Garbrandt needs to lose this Saturday, and he'll get a title shot. That's how it goes.
Or better yet, let's just hold the bantamweight division until TJ Dillashaw returns. There you go.
Boom.
Matchmaking.
Show over. Close everything down. Matchmaking. Ta-da.
Match. Alex, before we sign this off, you're probably not going to do the preview show for. Who do you think wins between Jan and Aldo?
I'm going Jan.
I'm going to have to agree with you. This too. PC Carroll has been calling Jan a future champion for about more than a year.
Yeah, I'm not going to go against PT today. Whatever PT says.
Otto misses weight, and then he wins a close split decision.
Oh, I wish. I love chaos. I love chaos so much.
Dude, Otto making 135 is going to be... That's still an issue. I mean, come on. I know you made 136, but it's still like, whew. Good luck, boys. All right, next question. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, okay.
Valentino Saifuddin Tarhan on Twitter. If Spencer finishes Nunes, how high would you rank it amongst the biggest upsets in MMA history? Hashtag the A side. I think I answered this question on Between the Links, so I'll start with Alex. Where would this rank if Felicia Spencer finishes Amanda Nunes on Saturday night?
I don't know. I guess I just don't see it as such a big upset. Yeah. Is that where you guys are kind of at?
It's not even an upset to me at all.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. Seem like that.
It would be a betting upset, but I'm going into this fight in the same way I went into the Weidman Anderson Silva fight, where yeah, Anderson is gonna be the favorite, and I picked him to. I can't remember who I picked to win that fight actually, but going into that fight, I remember being like, Chris Weidman could very easily win this, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'm in that same boat right now. So not even top 5. So I guess if she goes out there and axe kicks Amanda Nunes, then it would be a massive upset. But if she just like takes her down and submits her in the second or third round, then no. I think so. It would depending on how this fantasy scenario plays out.
Yeah, if she does axe kick Amanda Nunes like 30 seconds in, or
or if she just runs and just flying arm bars into a go-go platter, that would be a really big upset. I don't think anyone would see that coming.
You just haven't been paying attention, bro.
Oh, my fault.
I hope that answers your question.
Answer is a big no. All right, more questions. All right, here we go.
From Artful Bodger on the site, is it known how many fights Jon Jones has left on his contract? Spelled John wrong. If it is, if it is 1 or 2, the threatened retirement could be a preemptive renegotiating tactic. But if it is 3+, Dana can continue with shutting down any talk of more money, knowing JBJ can't fight elsewhere and would have no other option but continue to fight at his agreed rate or retire. Thoughts? So, Casey, correct me if I'm wrong, but champions have like an extension in their contracts, correct?
Yeah, pretty much every major promotion has that. Yeah.
So it's to clear up the leaving as champion to another promotion.
Yeah, it's just
like take the belt.
It's one of those, you guys don't have a union, deal with it, sign it or whatever. Right. Yeah.
So if Jon Jones gives up his title and fights out, yeah, sure, but there's no way he's going to give up his title and continue to fight in the UFC. If he keeps his title, then he'll keep fighting. So retirement, maybe, but then it could be a la Randy Couture. He retires, and then when he comes out of retirement, he's just back in the UFC. So it could be that scenario.
What I think is going to be interesting, though, is the UFC eventually, if Jon just doesn't take fights, then the UFC can't have a title fight, but they have all these pay-per-views to sell, and you take away Jon, you take out a division. Can you really sell Reyes Jan as an interim title? Like really sell it? I mean, no, because with Jon right there, just not fighting. I mean, they're gonna try. I mean, I think Jon's in a great position. So I mean, a lot of people go, you can't do this, it's pandemic or whatever, but. The UFC they're not discounting their pay-per-views or anything. It's not like they're taking in less money. It's like so Jon should get paid his what he feels is his market value, and he doesn't feel it's met, and I think he's in a great position.
Alex, what do you think of this Jon Jones versus Dana White feud we have going on?
I don't think Dana White gives a fuck, to be honest with you.
Whoa. We're in the internet here. Watch your language.
I really don't. I don't think it matters how much is left on Jon's contract. I mean, Dana White said if he wants to go, he can go. Like, do whatever you want to do. It's not really his concern anymore. And does Dana White really fold to people? I haven't seen it.
What would Dana say? If Dana's gonna, do you think Dana publicly would go like, "Oh crap, okay, Jon, shoot, you really put us in the corner here. Here, take our bags of money." Publicly,
right?
Yeah. I mean, that's
and like he's gonna. Jon Jones has tarnished his own name, but he's also tarnishing the UFC. And Dana White obviously isn't the best judge of character, but maybe he sees that in the long run, Jon Jones is kind of a wild card, and that could potentially be really bad business down the road. So if Jon wants to walk, maybe this is the best time. I don't know.
This is prize fighting. Wild cards make the most money.
Well, I was gonna say it's not like everyone like Jon Jones is the biggest draw in the light heavy division. We're all in agreement, right? There's no one in the 205 pounds in the world that will draw more eyeballs than Jon Jones, unless like a heavyweight decides to cut down, or even there's no middleweight that could even go up that could have the same impact of Jon Jones has on a card. So it's not like when Randy Couture retired and then all of a sudden Brock Lesnar emerged and Dana White could just slot him into a title fight and make a boatload of money. No, Dana White needs Jon Jones to even make any sort of money, especially now with no gates, where it's basically solely pay-per-view buys. And it's not like people could go to bars in some states. They have to stay at home and what have you. So Jon Jones is in a good situation right now. Oh, not good situation, but I think I don't know how. Jon Jones, it's in a world where Jon Jones has done what he's done. It's very interesting to see that he's making these moves now, and he could be the one that starts a wheel of a union down the line, which I don't think will happen either.
No.
That would be so insane.
That would be. I said that on the A side, and I'm not the A side, between the links, and I was like, and when the show ended, I thought about it, I was like, well, imagine a world where Jon Jones kicks off a union. It's like, I don't know. It's a scenario I never thought about.
I actually tweeted that earlier too. I was like, it felt like, oh man, like actually Jon's in a perfect position, like to start a union, because then he can like, okay, I'll take this fight, but I want broadcast rights. I want every player in like NBA or MLB, I think they get some cut of the broadcast rights, but of course, or even like video game rights, but UFC fighters get nothing. So hey, it's like, let me fight, give me 0.5% of that, broadcast deal you got with ESPN, Here, I want to answer this question from Max El Kukui Holloway, because I'll let you read it.
Why has no MMA media covered Livia Souza becoming a professional esports player for CSGO? I don't even know what CSGO means. So if she is, that's awesome, because esports, you can make a boatload of money and not get punched for a living, not have to cut weight. You're just playing a video game, which like like what I'm saying is like you're not getting hit, you're not taking physical damage at all, and you're probably going to make more money. Plus, I've covered esports events at ASU. They sold out arenas till I can't even remember the game that I was playing. It was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. So if that is true, hell yes, that is awesome. Shaq has an esports team. Rick Fox has an esports team. Celebrities are getting in the game now. So if that is a reality, do that.
Does anyone here follow esports?
No.
I don't personally.
It's lost on me.
I don't at all. But man, I've seen some of the videos of how many people watch it and everything, and even like the live events. I'm like this is insane. Like, and I have it, but that world doesn't cross my whatever interest. I mean,
dude,
my common interest at all. I've never I've never sitting around friends and you go, hey, you guys catch the esports this weekend? Like,
I went when I was in LA last.
But it's big. It is so. Cool.
When I was in LA last, I stopped by a friend's house and he was watching the Smash Brothers like championship of the world on something. The winner, I didn't know what I was watching, but apparently it was some massive comeback for the greatest player. It's like when the Red Sox were down, or when LeBron was down 3-1 and he won. And he won, and he was like, yeah, another day. And then just streamers started, and fireworks went off, and like 50,000 people were going nuts. And he was like, all right. It was very bizarre to see, but I loved everything about it. Counter-Strike, all right. Yes, I Googled it. Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Sorry.
That's what CSGO means. I apologize.
I can't believe Counter-Strike's still around. I played Counter-Strike in college. I didn't know that was still
Never even heard of it. What? Never even heard of it. I don't watch a lot of TV, and I don't play a lot of video games, if any. So I apologize for my lack of knowledge in the television show and video game base.
I love that someone called us noobs. That's so cute. Aww.
I love it.
I'm a noob.
I love it.
Definitely a noob.
In terms of games, yes.
Yeah. So if someone in the comments can give me like a good YouTube video or something that kind of just some like 10-minute video that will make me fall in love with what esports is. Because clearly a lot of people are into it, and clearly there's a giant industry in it, and people. There's
a really good documentary.
I want to know. I just want to know. I'm very curious.
There's a really, really good documentary on it on Netflix. I watched where a guy in Sweden or somewhere saw the potential and just started holding his own conventions, and then it blew up. So there's a really excellent documentary on esports, and it's from like years ago, so it was like right when it was starting to get big. But like to watch that and then watch where it is now, it's very cool.
Before I was a full timer at MMA Fighting, I picked up some freelance gigs, and I was shooting doing camera work for what is this? I forgot what it's called, but basically it was like a gaming league, but the whole idea was that you were super stoned the whole time. So I went to these Street Fighter conventions. So they had the Street Fighter consoles and the big screen and everyone playing. but everyone's just hitting massive hits, massive bong rips, or like dabs, or like edibles. It was just like all this weed everywhere, and then they would play video games, and like it was like a whole thing. There were like, I don't know, 500 people there,
and they were like getting paid to do this.
Yeah, well, they were getting paid if they won. If they won, that they would get paid. But the league, they hired me to help do promotional videos for them. So
was the weed used supplied, or did they have to bring their own?
A little of both. A little from column, yeah. A little column A, a little column B, yeah.
Was there like a minimum weed consumption criteria?
These are all very good questions.
No, there was no USADA wasn't there, so everything was good. Yeah, I don't know. It was just interesting. Everyone was cool. But then once everyone started playing, man, they were in the zone. And then I did like post game interviews with them. I asked them about their game, like so what did you think, like I don't know. I was just like it was interesting. It was interesting. And I did not smoke any or partake anything because I had a very expensive camera I was filming with. But once I packed away my camera, we were kind of done, and then everyone was wrapping out. Then I was like, let me go say hi to these little weed shops around here. Like, whoa, I don't know how they played. I don't know how anyone got home safely, to be honest.
And man, anytime I can watch someone do something that they are exceptionally good at, I will. One time when I hurt my leg, remember when I messed up my leg a few months ago because I stopped drinking coffee? That's another story for the A-side for a long time. I couldn't walk for like 2 days. I went down a rabbit hole and watched professional Tetris for about 4 hours, and I was enthralled. It was unbelievable. God. So don't knock it until you watch it. Anyway, next question, Casey.
Hey, Alex. Cool, Alex. Did you just get any things on your phone for curfew? I just got one for curfew, 6 p.m. tonight.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Arizona, it's 8.
8, yeah. It doesn't even get dark till 8. So like curfew starts like. Man.
In Arizona, they're peaceful protesting too.
This is tyranny. I wanted to get a haircut at 6:15. This is tyranny.
Doesn't Esther cut your hair?
At 6:15, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Outside in the street.
Outside in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
All right.
Tyranny.
Thank you, Artful Bodger.
You guys got silly names. All right. Oh, here we go. This is a fun one. Let's do this. Max El Kukui asking all the women.
Max El Kukui Holloway, what's one rule in MMA you would take out and one you would add? Casey, you train. What do you say?
Take away the stupid downward elbow.
12-6 elbows. I think that's like the answer.
It just doesn't make sense because there's literally no such thing as a perfect. And obviously, bring back knees on rule. Knees to ground an opponent. Absolutely. Yeah.
Those are literally the two I had.
So much cooler if you just knee people. Yeah.
Those are the two I had.
Okay, Matthew McConaughey.
Oh man. I get a moment of zen when I think about like knees to the ground an opponent.
Alex, your thoughts on rules you would change or add?
I don't know. This would involve some thinking. I just.
Wait, this is MMA. No thinking. Get out of here.
That's right.
I don't know that I would take away, but I guess I'm a proponent of open scoring, so I would add that.
We're talking rules, not talking scoring and judging. We're talking just rules, young lady.
What rules? All right, let's bring back fish hooking. Is okay.
Okay, fish hooking. There you go.
I want the unified rules to just be the same all on the planet. So how at the beginning of every broadcast, like I just want to we are in New York and they follow this, and this, and then the next week they're in like Sioux Falls and they're like, just so you know, Sioux Falls follows the other rule set. So I would like unified rules across the board. Soccer kicks need to be added. I disagree. I disagree. Soccer kicks look great, but if you get your head stuck, they work in a ring. I don't think they work in octagon because if you get pinned against the fence and get soccer kicked while your head is trapped, that is not a good time. So
don't
I disagree.
Get in that position, bro. Train harder.
All right, train harder. Easier said than done, old man who hurts his back walking up the stairs.
I didn't sneeze.
I
didn't do it Daniel Cormier and blow my back out sneezing. Although when I do sneeze now, I kind of go. It's a scary moment every time I sneeze.
You got brace for it.
Yeah. Oh man.
So stuck in that position. Okay, Dana.
All right. Where is this question? Keep stretching, Alex. I see you stretching your arms. wait. Stretch, Alex. You gotta get stretch out. There you go.
There you go.
Beautiful day out, looking at palm trees. Happy girl today.
From Tina Moo, do you think we'll get Jorge versus Colby? And if we do you think we also get a press conference? Yes and yes. Answer that. Alex, your thoughts on Jorge versus Colby?
I'm into it. I love the drama. Sorry. I want to see it. It's fun for me to watch.
Why are you
I hope there's a press conference.
Why would you apologize for wanting drama? People don't watch this because they want to see the best versus the best. It's not that's like maybe 5% of like actual pay-per-view sales.
Well, hold on. Even if there is drama or no drama, like these guys are top 5 welterweights in the world. This is just take out the drama. This is I love this fight anyway. So
you're not supposed to admit that you like drama, though. You're supposed to be like, everyone pretends that they just like the matchups, but really,
they both earned this spot. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what are they ranked? Like 2 and 3? Like that fight would honestly make sense if it happened in terms of rankings and skill sets and everything. I also like recently rewatched a lot of like what was Jorge Masvidal's old vlog, Tales from the Grind or whatever. Where it was like him from like early UFC. It's like he's getting ready for his Michael Chiesa fight or his Pat Healy fight, and Colby Covington ragdolls Jorge Masvidal a lot when they're training. So I would like to see that fight happen now to see how Jorge Masvidal handles. Also, Colby Covington doesn't train at ATT anymore, so there's a lot of questions I would like answered outside of the drama. So I love that fight regardless of the drama.
Colby told, like, heck, he probably told other people too, but I don't listen to anyone else's interviews. Told him that he's got a bunch of stuff up his sleeve, a bunch of information about Masvidal up his sleeve. So I'm into that. Let's bring that out. Let's dig up the dirt.
I love it. Oh, but I would also want to see Masvidal versus Usman first. Woodley versus Covington.
Are there any matchups within the top 5 guys, or I guess Gilbert? You can throw Gilbert in there now, I guess, that you wouldn't want to see? Like, I don't want to see that.
No, this is who I want to see. I want to see Gilbert versus Leon Edwards. I want to see Masvidal or Usman versus Masvidal, Woodley versus Covington, and Stephen Thompson versus Robbie Lawler.
Where does that leave the best welterweight? Conor McGregor.
Oh, my fault. He transcends the sport, so he can really do what he wants. Oh, the answer is Conor McGregor versus Tony Ferguson in 2021, when fans can return and Tony Ferguson is healthy.
Fans returning? You think like that's gonna ever happen? This is our world.
Another question from Ali. What do you think the next main event for UFC 251 will be on July the 11th? What a strange way to phrase that. I think it'll be Usman versus Masvidal and Jan versus Aldo. Colby, your thoughts?
Would this be domestic, or is that?
I don't know.
What day is it? Like, how far is July 11th?
What are days?
It's an interesting question. If it's Fight Island, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the scenario. Usman Masvidal and Jan Aldo. I wouldn't hate that at all. I like that main and co-main event on Fight Island because I was talking about getting a lot of eyeballs on the Fight Island product. I think those 2 fights hit the nail on the head. That's just my opinion, though. Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, because I can't think of anything else at the top of my head that would be the big Fight Island premiere. Sure, why not? I mean, I'd rather see Colby Masvidal first, but I can see the argument for Usman. I get it.
But who's out of the running? No heavyweight.
For what?
No, for a big pay-per-view.
Okay, yeah. So
main event, heavyweight. Let's go to weight classes.
Okay.
That's our heavyweight title shots. Like, so Stipe, that's
Stipe, DC will probably be in the fall.
So we have John's not gonna be July 11th.
Nope. Middleweight, probably not.
Probably won't be Izzy.
Costa and Izzy.
So you have Usman possibility.
Welterweight would be the other one. Lightweight, no, that just happened. That'll probably be in September, October. Featherweight, I have no idea what's going on with Volkanovski. He's in Australia anyway, so it would be a visa thing.
That's only a month. This is only
Bantam.
This is only a month away too.
Bantamweight, would be what we were just talking about, and then flyweight. Isn't that rematch happening?
I kept seeing like
July 18th. That is what was reported.
July 8th. Is that a fight night? What is July 18th?
I don't know. They haven't even announced. That's just reports. The UFC hasn't even touched it yet. And then you have Wiley's probably not fighting unless, right? Because she wants to fight Rose, but Rose was one of the ones that wasn't fighting anytime.
Rose is fighting Andrade.
Yeah, but that's also in the works, right? They haven't officially announced that, right?
So right now, and then Amanda Nunes is unless
fighting Saturday.
Fighting Saturday. So unless it's Shevchenko, which is she's injured right now.
She injured her knee, so she probably wasn't. She was supposed to fight in June, so she pulled out.
Yeah. So Usman, the welterweight title and the men's bantamweight title are really the only titles that can even be fought for the big international fight week. Oh wait, is it international fight week or is everything I don't know.
Stop trying to think past tomorrow,
Casey. Yeah, I know. Oh, God.
I mean, that's just speculating, too, because if we can get Volkanovski out, I mean, if they're allowing professional athletes to travel internationally, then all that goes out the window anyway.
That's true. Volkanovski v. Holloway, too, and then for the 1,000th time, Ortega and Korean Zombie finally, which better fucking happen. God.
Is that our new Tony versus Habib?
That has been. I was more excited for that fight than Tony Ferguson Habib. I've been asking for that fight since like 2015. People on this show know my feelings on that fight. Every time someone goes, if you could book one fight right now, what would it be? I'm like, Ortega, Korean Zombie, fight just in front of me. Go.
I think we know the answer to this question, but I'm just gonna Max out Kukui. Maybe because he has a cool avatar. That's why it always pops out.
If Calvillo can finish can she sneak ahead of Calderwood? Alex, I'll ask you two questions. Your thoughts on the main event between Calvillo there was a lot of outcry. Calvillo and I have made their comments known. So what are your thoughts on that fight headlining a fight night card in the Apex, and then can Cynthia Calvillo leapfrog Joanne Calderwood if she finishes Jessica Eye?
Okay, so Calvillo main event. No, I don't have a problem with it. I think everybody knew I was going to say that, but I mean, for God's sake, like there's only so many fighters that are at one time uninjured or ready to fight or in camp or especially during the pandemic. Like this is what it is. Everybody was begging for the fights to come back. Everybody wanted it so bad. And now here you go. We're doing it every weekend, sometimes 3 times a week. And now we got issues. Like it's a fight night, number one, so it's free to watch. I don't understand the complaints there. If you don't want to watch Calvillo and then don't. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. You want to watch the rest of the fights on the card, watch the rest of the fights on the card. What difference does it make besides the fact that it's going to be 5 rounds? So, no, I don't have a problem with it. Do I think if Calvillo can finish that she sneaks ahead of Calderwood? No, I don't. I just think because there's already been whispers of JoJo and Shevchenko that
fight was official. That was an official fight, yeah.
Oh, was it? Yeah. So no, I don't think that's how that's gonna work. So.
I agree. I think the UFC's been trying to get Joanne Calderwood into a title fight ever since she debuted, but she's always lost those number one contender fights. Like she lost to Marina Moroz, and then she also lost to Karen Chukagian. She's come up.
That was yeah. I know she did lose. Yeah, she did lose. I was just like, man.
Shit.
Yeah. Well, officially she lost, but I didn't think she lost, but whatever.
Sure, but she lost on the scorecards, and it was an L in the loss column. But I agree. I don't really care about like whether they main event or not. I don't really view it like that. Like when they announced it, I go, okay, that's the main event. I didn't. I think people are a little more upset because they thought I've seen a lot of they want Sandhagen Sterling to be 5 rounds. For a number one contender, which I get. If they made, I like that fight better just because it's a number one contender fight. But I don't really care if Calvillo headlines a fight night.
Right.
I don't.
I don't think it's a big deal either. I thought it just It's
not like fans can go in and watch anyway. It's like Alex said, it's free to watch.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to just turn the television on.
Yeah. I honestly I really sympathize with and Calvillo, how they have to answer all these questions or just see all this hate or see all this negative feedback they get online. And it's like, but like Cynthia said, like Dana White goes, "You want to be in the main event?" I'm supposed to go. Cynthia supposed to go? No, because
right?
Fist Punch 22 jerk face at AOL says, I suck and I should be in the prelims
Right.
and no one
It's
cares and they don't care about me, so they spend all this time writing comments how they don't care. So yeah, it's just stupid.
It's like when CM Punk got signed for like a lot of more money than like a normal person would who's 0-0, and people are like, why would I'm like, if someone gave me $500,000 to play shortstop for the Boston Red Sox for a week, you think I would say no? Like, you would all say yes.
Yeah.
Like, you might not like that the UFC gave him that money or giving him a shot, but don't blame the fighter. Like, What are you getting? Like, no, I don't deserve $500,000 and to fulfill my dreams of fighting in the UFC. Nope, don't want to do it. Like, come on.
There's a lot of things to be mad about in MMA, and this is not right. the battle to fight. So
no. It is Cynthia fought to a draw in her last fight, correctly?
And I think that
both of them missed weight.
Yeah,
both
Jessica missed weight by like a lot.
Yeah,
and she said it was because of her aunt. That whole thing. What was the aunt? What was the joke?
Ant flow.
Ant flow. Yeah, get it?
It's Lauren Murphy.
Hey, get
Lauren
it?
Murphy didn't buy.
You get it, Alex? Ant flow. Get it?
I get. Actually, do you want to explain it to me a little bit more?
Because you're a woman. Get it? So we got some diversity. We got some diversity up here, so now we can talk about this.
Look at that. Yeah, I didn't agree with what Lauren Murphy said because it's just science. But
you said you didn't agree with what Lauren Murphy said? Really?
No.
Ooh.
Well,
it absolutely affects your weight cut, whether or not you choose to plan ahead.
By that much?
Casey and I can't comment. I can't comment on this firsthand, so you explain why you disagree.
Look, I'm not saying that that's why she should have missed weight. You have to plan for that, and if you can't do it, then don't take a fight around that time. Like, we know what times of the month that's going to happen, and yeah, it definitely affects your weight cut, but it shouldn't be the reason why you miss weight because you have to take that into account. So it definitely affects you. That's simple biology. That's what I have to say about that.
wait, hold on. Where's my air horn button? And air horn. There we go. Good job, cool, Alex.
You need the more you know gift.
Yeah, the more you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm working on our cool soundboard. Don't worry. This show's gonna get extra annoying in a couple weeks.
Don't get rid of the Molly McCann air horns.
Big question coming up. Big question. Here we go. Everyone, get your thinking hats on.
Uh-oh.
Alex, from Maria Groen and Alex, what's your favorite kind of crystal?
What's the black one? Is it onyx?
Yes.
Yeah, anything black, obviously.
All right.
So goes with my outfits.
That's a good answer. Casey, what's your favorite crystal? You've never added to this chatter.
Tiger's Eye.
There you go.
Tiger's Eye is a winner.
Brian Keller fights Saturday. We'll see if you can make 3-0 since getting his Tiger's Eye, and then I can rub it in Alex Cayley's face.
Dude, before I met Brian Kelleher through the A side, and I gotta admit, like, I didn't think much of him, but like, man, I love that guy now. He's such a good, he's a thoughtful guy. He has thought.
He's very well spoken.
Very well spoken, and I don't think we released the interview yet, but we did an interview of him with Mike Heck, and we asked him about the performance of the night bonus he got, and for the first time ever, he said, "Nah, I think there were better fights on that card." I was like, man.
Oh yeah, that was a fight of the night, huh? That wasn't a performance.
Yeah, he goes, I definitely deserve a knockout tonight, but fight of the night. Oh, there were good fights.
Well, Azure got that money, so that's good for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's happy for my opponent got some money because Brian Keller is not an asshole, so he's like, yeah, that's good for him.
Also, Azure was winning that fight until he wasn't, until he got knocked out, I think.
I mean, it was competitive. Yeah. He was winning.
It was competitive, but I think Azure won the first round. I think he was 10-9 Azure before getting KO'd.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was totally winning before I wasn't. Yeah.
That was Robert Whittaker's words after he got knocked out.
Oh, I know. I get it. Yeah.
He's like, I was doing really well until I wasn't. I was like,
yeah.
It's usually how fights work.
And like
sports work.
It seems like such a weird, like, obvious statement, but like I totally get it. It makes a lot of sense. I was winning, so I wasn't.
Yeah, Pat Barry was doing exceptionally well until he wasn't for that 1 second, and then he lost. Jessica Crystal Crew with the blue crystals. There you go. Jessica, send Alex and Casey some crystals.
Yeah, all the crystals.
I was driving down Ventura Boulevard and I saw like this whole crystal shop. I'm gonna hit that up. when things
There's
open
one
up.
on I don't know if it's still there. There's a really cool looking one on Melrose that I used to walk by all the time when I lived in LA.
Alex, are shops being boarded up around you?
Yeah, I think just preventatively. Jewelry shops and things with expensive stuff inside.
Things like that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird. I live in Inglewood, and knock on wood, Inglewood has been really actually calm right now because
Interesting.
all
Do you
the.
think it's because everyone's going downtown?
I think so. I think so. This is different because because they're like in this. I think when they had in the '60s, they had like the Watts riots here, and they had no cars with the Rodney King beatings. I think that was in Compton.
Oh,
and stuff. So
I growing up in New England, like I obviously don't remember the Rodney King riots, but I've seen all the photos. You know that really famous photo of the in K-Town of the guys up on the roof with the shotguns and everything?
wait, Esterland chimed in about Crystal.
We have a crystal shop right around here in the corner here in England. So Casey, there's no excuse.
Yeah,
Literally no excuse.
dude.
Anyway,
that was she just put me on blast on front of millions.
Millions.
What a bee.
But anyway, that really famous photo of the people on the roof with the shotguns, I lived across the street from that. And when I moved there, I was like, this place looks super familiar. And then I looked up that photo and I was like, oh, this is nuts that this happened right here on Wilshire, near the Wiltern. Yeah. Any other questions, Casey? We got a few minutes left.
This has a question mark on it, so.
Englewood up to no good? So, Casey, the answer is no, right?
Englewood up to no good? No, we're up to plenty of good. I mean, there's a lot of good at Englewood. Don't worry. But Englewood is up to good. How about that? It rhymes still.
Englewood up to good.
Bacon sandwich.
Why?
Like just bacon on bread? I guess.
Like not even toast, just like white bread and bacon? All right. No, thank you.
You're not a man.
No, I like huevos on my sandwiches.
Here we go.
Do we see from just my 2 cents on the YouTube comments, do we see the Stipe DC trilogy happening before the end of the year? I will be optimistic and say yes. Alex, your thought?
By the end of the year, what month is it? June? Yeah, there's plenty of time to go. I think so. I think we're going to need to move the heavyweight division ahead at some point. So,
I absolutely think it will happen because 2020 is never going to end. It's the longest year ever. So 2020 won't end. So they're going to add extra months to the year. Like there's going to be a March, Rocktober. I don't know. They'll add extra months because 2020 is the worst year. One of the worst years ever. So at least in modern history, and so. But we'll end it with a punch, of a good punch. Get it?
I will say, remember the Mayan calendar predicted 2012?
Mm-hmm.
I think they just got the last two numbers mixed up. It should be 2021. So a 9-year missing in the grand scheme of things, like a millennia-old prediction missing by 9 years is pretty good if you're going by scientific method.
That's true. We're on the last of it here. It's been real.
Oh, you know what? I've gotten a.
It's been real.
This is pretty interesting. We can talk about this gentleman right here.
Should Tyron Woodley move up to middleweight from Bubba King?
I don't think middleweight's the answer, but let's talk about Tyron Woodley in general.
Let's talk about Tyron Woodley, who came up short to Gilbert Burns on last Saturday's main event at the UFC Apex. To say come up short would be an understatement. He got, in his words, like dominated. Like, I don't know if I'm sure you guys both watched the IG video that he posted. He said he was like oddly at peace for a guy who just got beat up. Like, he fully admitted it. He gave Gilbert Burns 100% of the credit, saying it wasn't a replay of the Kamaru situation where he had an out-of-body experience. He said, I was in it. Everything went great. I just lost. Very similar when I watched it to when Dominic Cruz lost to Cody Garbrandt. And no excuses. He's like, I just lost. It happens. So Tyron Woodley makes no excuse. But Alex, what should the next move be for Tyron Woodley?
I don't know.
If you're looking to make fights.
I don't think he should move to a different division. I just think that he's gotten beat by a couple of really amazing fighters. Like, that happens. So, I mean, sorry you're not champ anymore, so you might not be top 5 anymore, but you're still going to have a hell of a career. living out the rest of your fights, in the top 10 or wherever you see fit. So I don't know. I don't think every loss dictates a giant career change. Maybe you're just not the best in the world, and that's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah. I think Cool Alex is right. Yeah, that's all I took away from it. I still can't get over this thing in MMA about how once you hit a certain level, if you're not at that level, that must mean you suck and you should never ever fight again, which I think is ridiculous. It's like, no, obviously when Tyron hit his prime athletically, it was perfect timing. He was a champ. He was a long range champ. He was a great UFC champ. He's one of the best welterweights ever in his prime.
Top 5 welterweights in MMA.
Absolutely. And what is he, 37, 38 now?
Something like that.
Yeah, so he's probably close. He's almost 38 now. It's okay, dude. Like, it's okay. Like, now you're a top 10 welterweight. And now you will be... Now this is the big issue that he needs to deal with. He will be making less money per fight. So is it worth it for him? And every good promotion does, they will use their former champions to build up new prospects. Because, remember Anthony Smith fought Rashad Evans. And we all knew Anthony Smith was going to roll through Rashad Evans. But now we go, he just beat a former champion. It's like... And so it adds that, even though we know Rashad Evans wasn't anywhere near that.
Similar to, Paulo Costa, Johnny Hendricks, or all those guys that beat Renan Barão, it's kind of a measuring stick. If you can beat a former champion, then you're good.
So if Tyron Woodley wants to fight in the UFC, the reality is he will be used as a stepping stone for future prospects, for upcoming prospects. So that's on him. If he wants to be that challenge and go, okay, if you want to fight Kamaru Usman, you gotta be able to beat a guy like me. So and Tyron can still make good money doing that, but is it worth the money? No, that's on him. But he's still, to me, a very quality welterweight, and yeah.
And he's still a name. He can head even coming off 2 losses, if they announce Robbie Lawler, Tyron Woodley headlines UFC Fight Night in July or August, it'd be that's a headline. Robbie Lawler and Tyron Woodley are names that they fought before. It's a rematch. So Tyron Woodley also
that fight.
I love that fight. If they Tyron Woodley is very outspoken when it comes to social justice issues and what's going on in the world. He uses his platform better than almost every fighter. He's from Ferguson, and when the Ferguson riots were happening, he was very vocal about it, adamant. I remember when he knocked out Dong Young Kim, he wore a St. Louis Cardinals baseball hat in China and talked about it. So the UFC needs fighters like Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley can use the UFC's platform for what he wants to say, and since he's still a name, string together 3 or 4 wins. Why can't he get another title shot? I mean, we see guys get title shots off of less. Say he beats Robbie Lawler.
Aldo. Sorry about that.
Right. Tyron Wood, he beats Robbie Lawler. Or if they rebook Leon Edwards, beats Leon Edwards, still a name. And like Alex said, you just lost to 2 top 5 fighters. You're not a bum. Yeah. It's like Anthony Pettis. Who's he lost to? Literally name any of the 10 greatest lightweights. Anthony Pettis has either beat them or lost to them. So you're not losing to quote-unquote bums in there, as Ryan Hall would say.
Yeah. Now, the only, big warning I would have for Tyron is by taking too many fights after this, could it ruin his legacy? And in the sense, what I mean legacy is his earning potential down the line. Because I think of someone like BJ Penn. BJ Penn now, he's not known as, oh, that was BJ Penn, oh my God, knocked out Kyle Uno and did all this, Sean Sherk. You don't remember him for that now. Now you remember him for all his losses, all his, his...
The longest losing streak in UFC history. Yeah.
So, and before that longest losing streak, he was considered the greatest lightweight ever, before, Khabib and everything. But the longest time, he was what lightweights are, BJ Penn. And now he's not known as that. And yeah, it's sad. And actually, even more recently, I think of someone like Renan Barão. People forget Renan Barão was pound for pound the best bantamweight ever. Now we don't even remember his name. Hey, remember Renan Barão? Remember he used the main event pay-per-views or up there. And if Tyron Woodley takes too many bad losses, then it would kind of ruin his future legacy in the sense of sponsorships, his music career, things like that. Just even seminars and things like that, or things that these fighters can make a good living, running gyms and stuff. But if he's remembered as this guy that got knocked out a bunch of times past his prime, then that's all you are. So that's all I'm worried about with Tyron Woodley. But he's obviously a tough dude still. He lasted 5 rounds. I couldn't.
Or similar to, remember when Johnny Hendricks beat George St. Pierre?
Think about Johnny Hendricks, how what his legacy is now. You think of him on the losses now. You don't remember that run that he had. Yeah.
Well, he had, for a long time, he was the one with the touch of death, and then he beats Carlos Condit. I want to say UFC 159. And then fights George St. Pierre to a fight many people think he won. And then has 2 of the greatest fights I've ever seen against Robbie Lawler. Unbelievable. Yeah, now we don't even talk about him.
Yeah, so.
All of this is really validating Henry Cejudo, I think.
I said that. 100%. Yeah. Well said.
Yeah.
Especially what Henry was making. Yeah, that I always say, no, your legacy don't pay your mortgage, but your legacy does get you more money to appear on Dancing with the Stars or whatever, So.
Yeah.
Henry Cejudo could write another book and go on another book tour and make money off of that too. Henry Cejudo, yeah. Well, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that, Alex. But any other questions, Casey, before we sign off this week?
Nah, man, we good.
We good. All right, so that's the end of this episode of the A-Side. I'm sure you guys all enjoyed Alex's input. She's going to be back on a lot more on Wednesdays. But Alex, anything you want to say to the fans before we sign off?
No.
That's what I like to hear. The signature Alex. No.
Once we're ready to wrap up, I'm rapping. Let's go.
Let's do it. Casey, anything you want to say?
Well, I can't follow. Alex, I was gonna say, Alex, go buy some artwork. You got nothing on your walls. What's going on?
Oh, it's here. It's sitting on my balcony. I haven't opened the boxes yet.
You lazy bum.
I know.
You lazy bum, he says.
I have a lot going on. Okay, I gotta go shopping. Oh wait, no, I can't do anything.
No, I just want to say, my promo. Thank you to all the. I'm gonna get all the weird hate now. But thank you to all the fighters like Izzy, Juan Adams. I think I'm gonna forget a few, but Leslie Smith.
Stipe was big.
Even people, journalists like Era Hawani. Thank you for putting their name out there and speaking in support of the protesters out there on the streets. And this is a very, very fucked up world we're in right now. But we do have mixed martial arts. We do have prize fighting right now. So let's enjoy it and watch some good fights and support your friends and support your black community. And BLM.
Stay safe out there. Let's not forget we're also still in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
So protest, be careful. That's all I have to say. Anyway, for Jose, that's Alex, that's Casey. We'll be back next Wednesday. I'm going to Vegas tomorrow, so you can stick on this YouTube channel from all of your UFC 250 content. I'll be driving, but Casey and Alex and the rest of the crew will be holding down the fort on the UFC 250 virtual media day, which every single fight card I've been to, every single fight week I've been to, the UFC PR has asked for, what can we do better? And we're always like, you need a better camera, you need a better mic, you need to do this and that for virtual media day. So if they fix it, we've been telling them during every fight. But we're out. We'll see you next Wednesday.